I grew up in Florida, and I also worked at a technical college, and they offered a sign language class on Fridays. I took that, and I was like, I like this. And then I found out they had an interpreter training program. I'm like, that's for me. And just kept going, and I look back, and wow, that's 30 years later. I'm here in Columbia, South Carolina, and we have a pretty good-sized deaf community. And a lot of deaf people tell me, I want to go to church, but I don't have an interpreter. I want to help bridge that gap. God is a God of variety. He didn't make one kind of person, one kind of tree or bird, so he wouldn't make just one kind of person. He made black people, white people, Asian people. We're all individuals, and that's the way he meant for us to be. We hadn't been to church, and I had been praying and said, Lord, I want to find a church that's not just a black church or a white church. I want a church that has all God's people. And he said, okay, let's go visit Elevation. So we went to the Valentine campus and was like, wow. And then we found out they had a campus in Columbia. And I was like, okay. So we went to the campus, and we've been going ever since. Then when COVID hit, God was like, this is a good time to start a deaf ministry. And I was like, yeah, a good time. Me? You want me to start a deaf ministry? And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And so I started reaching out to just deaf people I knew in the community. People just kept coming, and I kept going. And every time I wanted to quit, Pastor Steven would preach another sermon. Don't quit, don't do this. I'm like, okay. So it was just, I felt like it was God's way of telling me just to keep going and just trust him. Pastor has been preaching some good messages, and when he gets to start really preaching and he goes really fast, I try to keep up as best I can, but sometimes, I may miss a thing or two, and I'm like, I wonder if I was clear enough so that person can get that message, because some people have been told their whole lives, oh, God doesn't care about me, I'm deaf. He didn't care about me, why he made me deaf? Them to come to realization that, yeah, God still loves you, deaf or not, and he has a purpose for you. The interpretation is equal access, because we get to go in church and just listen to what God has to say, but for a deaf person, if it's not in their language, they don't get it, and God's gonna help me bridge that gap. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I believe that God is gonna help me get there. I've learned so much about myself and about trusting God and just letting him lead me, because I was scared to just come out front, but I realized that God had already given me everything I need to do what he's asked me to do.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching Elevation Plus. We consider you part of our EFAM, which is our online family.
That's right. So make sure you are liking, subscribing, sharing Elevation Plus, and come back here so you can find out more about great stories, great creative elements, and also join us every week for Coffee Fam.
That's right.